Hello guys, can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, very good evening to all of you. Guys, let's continue with the second lecture of what we have studied in the previous lecture about atomic structure. Okay. So, what is an atom, element, and compound? Do you all know what is an element? What is an compound? You definitely know what is an atom. An atom is the simplest or the basic uh, unit of any matter. Okay. What is element? What do you understand by the element? And
An
please,
element is
yeah, answer.
when there's only one type of atom.
Very good, Anisha. And please try to on your videos. Okay. So, okay, I gave you one assignment, four assignment sheets. Are you guys able to solve it? Have you guys solved it? The assignment which I have given to you, the four assignment sheets. Hello, Zaina, Anisha, Yana, Gurpreet. I gave you an assignment, four assignment sheets. Have you guys solved it?
I didn't get any assignment sheets.
I didn't get any either.
Yes.
You haven't got any assignment sheet.
No, we were told we'd be given it the next day, but we never were.
They are on the group. Okay. I posted it on the next day. Okay. Now please find it. I will post it again. Please find those sheets and solve it and submit it within 3 to 4 days. Uh, okay, 4 days is the limit. You have to solve it and submit in 4 days. Okay. So we have atoms, we have elements and compounds. So you guys are absolutely right. Atom is the simplest or basic unit, and elements. What is an element? Element is the collection of same type of atoms. Collection of same type of atoms. Like I have an iron rod. So rod is made up of only iron atoms. So it will be called as iron element. Absolutely right. And what are compounds and molecules?
So a compound is when atoms of different elements combine together, and molecules are when atoms of the same element combine together.
Good. Very good. Okay. Guys, these are the basic things which you should definitely know. So we have atoms. Atoms are the simplest unit of every matter. Every matter is made up of the basic unit, which is called an atom. Like iron rod is made up of iron atoms. Then we have elements. When same type of atoms group together, they form the element. Then we have compounds and molecules. What are molecules? So molecules are when two different atoms, two different or two same atoms link or combine through a bond. Okay? When two same atoms or two different atoms combine through a bond, we call it a molecule. We have a special name for when two different atoms combine, we call them compounds. So all the compounds are molecules also, but all the molecules are, oh, sorry, let's note it down. You write the definition as, first you write the definition of element, collection of same type of atoms. Have you noted it down? Then we have molecules. Molecules, one category is compound, which comes under the molecules. All the compounds are molecules, but all the molecules are not compound. So when two different atoms or two same atoms combine through a bond, we call them molecule. We have a special name when two different atoms combine. So they are compounds. Are you getting me? When two same or two different atoms combine, we both call them molecules. Like if you example आप देखेंगे, suppose we have HCl and we have oxygen, O2. Here hydrogen and chlorine atoms, do two different atoms combine. And we have oxygen. Here two same oxygen atoms combine to give you an oxygen molecule. So O2 is also a molecule. HCl is also a molecule, but HCl is a compound also, but oxygen O2 is not a compound. Are you getting me? Okay. Suppose we have HCl, right? And we have oxygen, we have chlorine, we have H2, and so on. Here two different atoms combine. Okay, so this is a compound, which is a molecule also. OO, when two same atoms combine, we have a molecule of O2. But this is not a compound, because compound is when two different atoms combine. So these all are molecules. Molecules of O2, Cl2 and H2. So when two different atoms combine, we call it a compound and molecule both. But when two same atoms combine, we call them a molecule only. So okay. Now coming to the structure of the atom. Everything in this universe is basically made up of atoms. An atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist. This is what they look like. So an atom looks like this. Here we have the nucleus. A nucleus does not have a boundary. I told you earlier, nucleus does not have a boundary. Nucleus is just a collection of neutrons and protons. When neutrons and protons group together in a small space, tightly, they pack together tightly, they form a nucleus. So nucleus is just a collection of neutrons and protons. And in the orbits, just like the solar system, we have electrons here. Electron do the motion just like this Earth. It do revolution around the nucleus, as well as it rotate on its own axis. It rotates on its own axis. Okay. So electron does both the things. It do the revolution around the nucleus, as well as it rotates along its axis too. Okay. So this is how an atom looks like. Okay. Next, we have the definition of element. If a solid, liquid, or gas is made up of only one type of atom, we say that it is an element. For example, consider a tripod made up of iron. We have a tripod made up of iron. So if we enlarge the image, we will see that iron atoms are arranged in this fashion. Okay. They are pegged so this tightly. Now we have elements and symbols that you should know. You know, we have discovered 118 elements, and we have arranged them in a systematic order. We call it a periodic table. Do you know about it? Okay. So we have a periodic table, and we also assigned the symbols to each of the element. Okay, like hydrogen is written as H, helium He, lithium Li, beryllium Be, and this so on. These are the obvious ones. Some more obvious ones: sulfur, chlorine, argon, calcium, zinc. Then we have the less obvious ones. Can you guys tell me the difference between these both? The obvious ones and the less obvious one. Why these are characterized as this?
The
The
obvious
obvious,
ones.
the obvious ones are the first two letters of each element, whereas the less obvious ones contain other letters.
They contain a
Other
diff-
letters.
Latin words, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, very good. Okay. So the abbreviation we use here is the first letter, the collection of two letters from their names. But these names are the Latin names. Like sodium is natrium, so Na. Potassium is kalium, so K. The symbol of potassium is K. So these are the Latin names, Latin English. Okay. Iron is ferrous, so ferrum. Cuprum is argentum. Tin stannum, gold aurum. This is a hygro something. Hygrogengium something. It's I'm forgetting it. Hygro something. And this is plumb. Okay. So the symbol of these elements are based on their Latin names. So sodium is the symbol of sodium is Na because its Latin name is natrium, the potassium and kalium. So these are the symbols. I will send you the PDF of this. So please note these down. Okay. Next, we arrange the periodic table in this fashion. We have so many periodic tables, right? Do you know about the history of periodic table? Have you ever studied it? Newland's law of octaves. Okay, very good. So the first significant periodic table was given by Dobereiner, right? You know about it? Dobereiner's stride. Okay, okay, we'll study it. Then Newland's law of octaves. Then Mendeleev. Then the Henry Moseley gave us the final periodic table which we study today. Before Henry Moseley, the Dobereiner, Newland, and Mendeleev all did the same thing. They tried to arrange the elements known at their time according to their atomic masses, increasing atomic masses. But Henry Moseley arranged the elements according to their atomic numbers, and he got the periodic table. So we'll study the periodic table later. It looks like somewhat like this. The red ones are the metals and the yellowish ones are the non-metals. So it looks somewhat like this. We have 18 groups. The columns are called the groups. We have 18 groups and the rows are called the periods. We have 7 periods in the modern periodic table. We have 18 groups and 7 periods in the modern periodic table. Okay. So the periodic table is given by Mendeleev first, and he said that vertical columns are called the groups and horizontal rows are called the periods. Okay. Some of the compounds are given here. Compounds are formed when two or more different elements are chemically combined by sharing or giving of electrons. Some examples are methane. Do you know the name of methane?
CH4.
CH4. Very good. Okay. Sodium chloride is NaCl. Then glucose is C6H12O6. Okay. So here you can see that these compounds, these are called compounds because they are made up of different types of atoms. They are made from the combination of different types of atoms. So these are called the compounds. Okay. So compounds can only be separate. Okay, compound का definition here. Then compounds can only be separated back into elements using a chemical reaction. If you want to separate a compound, you have to do some chemical reaction. Yeah, obviously, because these bonds are so strong. So if you want to break them, you cannot do it physically. You need some chemical reactions to break them down or transform them or to displace some element and connect some another element here. So these are the compounds. Okay. Guys, what we'll do, I'll send you the PDF, okay? So we are going to these slides one by one. We'll discuss it and it's your duty to note it down in your notes, okay? And please find the assignment which I sent earlier and which I'm going to send today, okay? Then we have some simple compounds. The hint is given here. The red one is carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms are connected with carbon. So what is the name of this compound?
Methane.
Methane. Now please answer whom I will ask. Snehal and Gurpreet, please on your videos. Okay. Can you name Gurpreet? Can you tell me the name of this compound? Okay, who can tell?
Is it
Is it
carbon dioxide?
okay? Okay. See, this is the green one is oxygen and the blue ones are hydrogen. So what it can be? Zena?
It's water.
Yeah, it's
H2O.
water. Yeah, it's water. Very good. H2O is water. Okay. Now, this one is carbon and the green ones are oxygen. So what can be the name of this Snehal? Snehal.
It would be carbon dioxide, that one.
Very good. CO2 is carbon dioxide. Okay. Now, this one is carbon here and the blue ones are hydrogen. So this is C2H2. Do you guys know the name of this compound? Okay. So this is ethane gas. It's a gas. It's ethane gas. Okay, leave it. This you should know. This one is sulfur. The green ones are oxygen. And we have 2 hydrogens. So this is H2SO4. What's the name of this compound? H2SO4. Have you ever
Would it be,
Acid.
have you
would it
ever
be
heard?
hydrochloric acid?
Very good. It's a sulfuric acid. Have you guys heard about it? Yeah. This is the strongest acid. This is known as king of chemicals, right? This is one of the strongest acid. So H2SO4. So these are some simple compounds. Okay. So compounds, now you got the definition that when 2 or more different atoms join through a bond, the black ones is the black one, the black line is the bond. Okay. So when 2 or more different atoms join through a bond, they form a compound. Okay. Now we have balancing equations. Suppose I have given like this, that magnesium burns in oxygen, burns in oxygen, giving magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide. Okay. So what I'll do, I have to write a chemical equation because a chemical reaction is a compact form. Okay, if I write this equation, if I write this as again and again, it will occupy more space and it will consume my time too. So what I did, I write it in the form of symbols. So Mg is the symbol of magnesium. Then what is the symbol of oxygen gas?
O2.
O2. Okay. So then magnesium oxide is formed. So what is the symbol of magnesium oxide?
MgO.
Okay, MgO. Okay. So if I write the equation, above equation like this, it will be more convenient and in every way. Okay. So now what I when I wrote this equation, it does not contain the equal number of atoms on both the side. Like here the magnesium atom is 1, here it's 1, but here oxygen atoms are 2 on the left hand side, but only one oxygen atom is present here. Okay, so this is known as the skeletal equation or unbalanced equation. This one is known as the skeletal equation or unbalanced equation. Okay, you guys know, can you guys tell me what is a chemical reaction? What do you understand by a chemical reaction? What happens in a chemical reaction?
It's when energy is given to two atoms and or molecules, and they sort of form a bond, and that creates a new product.
Great answer. Okay. Uh, very good. But let's understand it in a simpler way. So, have you guys played the game of Lego, which in which we used to join the blocks and make something, right? So, chemical reaction is just like that. The atoms rearranges themselves, forming new product. The atoms which are already present don't get lost, and no new atoms get formed during a chemical reactions. Just the atoms present before rearranges themselves in a new fashion, in a new order to give you product. This is the actual definition of a chemical reaction which you should say now, from now onwards. The rearrangement of atoms is called a chemical reaction. Okay, so here also the magnesium and oxygen atom rearrange themselves to give you magnesium oxide. No new atoms get formed and no atoms get lost in a chemical reaction. Okay, so let's balance this reaction. Can you guys help me to balance this reaction?
So there are two oxygen atoms in O2. So you'd add a coefficient of 2 to magnesium oxide.
Very good.
So now you have 2 magnesium on that side, so you need to add 2 to that side.
Well done. Okay, so what I did, I cannot change. Okay, if I wanted to balance this oxygen, here one magnesium atom is present, here also one magnesium atom is present. I wanted to balance the oxygen atoms, so I cannot put a 2 here because this will change the formula. This will change the formula of the compound, and this you should not do. So you can, if during balancing, you can put the numbers in front of the uh, name of the compound. These numbers are known as stoichiometric coefficient. Stoichiometric coefficient. These numbers are known as stoichiometric coefficients. So I put a 2 here. Then while I was balancing oxygen, the magnesium got unbalanced, so I have to put a 2 here also. In this way, both the sides have equal number of atoms. Okay, this left hand side is called the reactants, and this right hand side is called product. There can be more than one reactants or a single reactant also in double and decomposition reaction, and same here. So we should write this reactants or product. So this is a skeletal equation. This was earlier a skeletal equation which was unbalanced one, but when we balanced it, so it is now a balanced chemical equation. It is now a balanced chemical equation. Okay, so you guys will note it down, or okay, should we move on? Okay, most of you guys knows this too. Okay, so balancing the equation, we need to balance the equation. Suppose we have sodium plus water, we get sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Okay, do you know the symbol or the name of the chemical formula of sodium hydroxide?
NaOH.
No. Gurpreet, can you help me? What is the chemical formula of sodium hydroxide? Ishani.
Is it HCl?
Ishani?
I'm not sure.
Anisha?
Is it NaOH2?
Okay, Yana, you are absolutely right. It's NaOH. Okay, you should be. You should have confidence. Very good, Yana. I like your confidence. Okay, so it's NaOH. It's NaOH. NaOH. So this is sodium hydroxide. Okay, so it's written over here too. Sodium plus water gives you NaOH plus H2. Okay, so they wrote the equation like Na plus H2O gives NaOH plus Na plus H2O gives you NaOH plus H2. Balance this equation fast. Balance this equation. Balance this equation fast.
Would there be a 2 in front of Na and a 2 in front of H2O and a 2 in front of NaOH?
Okay. So how to balance the equation? Okay. So we wrote the equation from here. So let's start from here. We have one sodium atom here. Na is 1. Here it's 1. It's balanced. Then next is hydrogen. Here hydrogen are, we have 2 plus 1, 3 atoms of hydrogen. But here only 2 atoms of hydrogen. So let's put a 2 here. Now how many hydrogen atoms we have here? 4 atoms. 2 and 2, because this 2 written over here gets multiplied in each of the atom. So now we have 2 sodium, 2 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. And hydrogen now, 2 plus 2 gives you 4. So we have to put a 2 here too. Now we have 4 hydrogen atoms here. We have 4 hydrogen atoms here. Then oxygen. We have 2 oxygen here. How many oxygen atoms we have here?
2.
2. Very good. So oxygen is also balanced. Uh, is this reaction exactly balanced? Do we need something?
You need to add a 2 in front of the Na.
Very good.
on the
Very
next
good.
one.
Very good. Okay. So now this reaction is exactly balanced. So you guys knows to how to balance a reaction. This is very good. Now you have to do it, balance these reactions. So start balancing this reaction fast. Balance these reactions fast. Okay. Okay. So you guys have definitely solved the first one. Let's check. Is is the first one correct? Okay. Let's check the second one. Is second one correct? Yeah. These are very easy equations, and we have to balance the number of atoms. Okay. Gurpreet, are you are these both correct?
Yeah.
Very good. Anisha?
Yeah.
Okay. Then this one. Is it correct? After balancing the equation, you should recheck it. Okay, you just have to recheck it that what I did is correct or not. You have to check the number of atoms on both the sides. Like here we have two Fe atoms. Here also we have two Fe atoms. The number written outside the stoichiometric coefficient gets multiplied in each of the number. So now how many chlorine atoms are here? 3 to the 6. Here we have chlorine 2 atoms, so to make it 6 we have to put a 3 here, so 3 to the 6. So in this way have to balance the equations. Okay, the fourth one, is it correct? It's already balanced. Then the fifth one, Gurpreet, are all these 5 absolutely correct?
The fourth one is in.
Okay, the fourth one. Why? Have you got the mistake you have done? Or the mistake, the thing which you should not do it again? Here we have one sodium atom. Here we have one sodium atom. Here we have one oxygen, 1 and 2. You have to count the total number of atoms, number of atoms on the reactant side or product side. When I think you was counting the hydrogen atoms, you counted this as one only. You have to count all the hydrogen atoms or any of the atom um, on the reactant side and product side. So we have two hydrogen atoms on the reactant side or the left hand side, and we have two hydrogen atoms here too. One chlorine atom, one chlorine atom. So this reaction is balanced. Okay. Have you guys balanced all the equations? Let's check it. Is it correct? Okay. Gurpreet, is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this one also correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the last one correct?
Yeah.
Snehal?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, listen, guys. This is a class in which you want to learn. You are attending this class because you don't know some points, right? So don't hesitate. Just uh, ask the question as many as you can. Okay. So in this way, these are the examples, and you balanced these equations, right? Okay. And I'll send this PDF. If any of you are encountering any problem here, you may ask the question in the next class. Okay. So we have naming compounds. We have rule number 1. If two identical elements combine, then the name doesn't change. What this means? Suppose we have hydrogen gas. Okay. So what is the symbol of hydrogen gas?
H2.
H2. Okay. Two hydrogen atoms comes together and forms a bond, and now they will go together anywhere. So they are termed as H2. So when two same atoms combine, the molecule formed also have the same name. This is hydrogen gas only. Here we have two hydrogen atoms, and here we have hydrogen gas. So when two same atoms combine, uh, the name doesn't change. Okay. And positively submit the assignment as soon as you can. You have to submit it by Saturday, because then only I'm able to understand that. And please don't copy it from anywhere else. Just try to write answers in your own words and submit the PDF photos, and arrange them in PDF format and send it to me. And then only I am able to understand how much you guys read in the previous classes. Do you know what this bond means?
It's
What this?
equivalent.
It's
Okay,
a covalent bond.
okay. Gurpreet, what is the covalent bond?
It's
Okay, have you studied it ever?
yeah.
Okay, okay. Can somebody tell me the definition of covalent bonds?
So usually non-metals bond to form covalent bonds.
Okay, Anisha,
Yeah.
what is a covalent bond?
It's when two non-metals bond together by sharing an electron.
Good. Sharing of electrons. Okay. So let's coming to the topic bonds. Okay. So write down the heading bonds. In chemistry, we have two types of bonds. We have ionic bond and we have covalent bond. Okay. We have metals, we have non-metals, we have metalloids in this chemistry. Can you guys tell me what are metals? What do you mean by metal? What do we mean by metal? Okay, listen to me. We have discovered 118 different elements. They are elements, okay. Now elements, we have classified the elements into categories, basically three categories: metals, non-metals, and metalloids. The elements which have the tendency to lose electrons are called the metals. Do you know this thing? That some metals loses electrons? Zena, do you know this thing?
Sorry, your voice cut off. My internet just stopped for a second. Can you repeat that?
Okay. I was saying that what are metals? In chemistry, metals are elements which have the tendency or ability to lose electron are called the metals. So, can you guys give me an example of metal?
Iron.
Iron. Very good. Okay. So, metals are elements elements which have tendency to lose electrons are called metals. Because if you guys read the bonding part, then you must have studied that some elements loses electrons, some elements gains electrons, and some elements prefer sharing electrons to form a bond. Because it's just like this, a bond between two person can form in two ways. Either they share the gift or share something, or the one gives the something to the another completely. Similarly, two atoms form bond in two manner. Either this atom gives its electron to this atom. This atom gains the electrons, becomes negatively charged, and this atom loses electrons and becomes positively charged. Now, this positively charged atom will generate a field around it, just like a magnet, and this negatively charged atom will also generate a field, a negative electric field around it, just like a magnet. Whenever two magnets are kept in at a distance, they don't attract or repel each other. But when magnets from their opposite poles are kept at a proper distance, then they attract each other. Just like this, when these oppositely charged ions comes in contact or comes in the coverage area, then they attract each other through a electrostatic force of attraction and forms a bond. So this is one way, and second way is sharing of electrons. Okay, so have you guys read this earlier? I think no. Yana, have you studied it earlier?
Yeah, we have.
Zaina, Gurpreet?
Yes.
Okay. So note down this. We have two types of bonds: ionic bond and covalent bonds. Have you noted down? We'll write the definition of them one by one. First is ionic bond. Ionic bond. This is also known as electrostatic bond. Electrostatic bond. Electrostatic bond. Ionic bond is formed. Ionic bond is formed between two oppositely charged oppositely charged ions. How many different types of ions we have? Gurpreet. What are ions? How many different types of ions we have? Okay, Zena.
Yes.
How many different types of ions we have?
2.
What are they?
Positive and negative.
And what are positively charged ions called? Cation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ishani, what are negatively charged ions called?
I don't know, but they have more electrons than protons.
So what are they called?
I think they're called anions.
Yes, very good. Very good, Zena. Okay. So ionic bond is a very interesting bond. These are the strongest bond in this universe. They are called as electrostatic bond 2. They are formed between two oppositely charged ions. Okay. We have two different types of ions. We have two different types of ions. One is positively charged ions. Positively charged ions. And the second one is negatively charged ion. Negatively charged ion. The positive one is called cation and negative one is called anion. Okay. So please note it down and then we move forward how they are formed and why they are formed. Guys, the all the 4 assignment sheet you have to solve today in within 2-3 days, 4 days, whatever time you take. But try to submit it by Sunday so that I get time to check it. But I request you that only answer those questions which you know. Don't try to copy it from Google or anywhere else, because then only I am able to know at what level I should go to teach you guys. Otherwise, I'm unable to know you guys because I haven't met you and I don't know what you are studied earlier, how much you scored in previous classes. I don't know anything. So please try to answer only those questions which you know. Don't try to copy it from anywhere else. Okay, so we have these two different types of anions. Okay, now can you guys tell me why these ions formed?
To form a full outer shell.
Very good. Okay, now listen. This is a theory which fails sometimes, but almost most of the time it is true. It holds. So this theory says that only those atoms tries to combine with another elements or atoms uh, which have incomplete octet. Octet means 8 electrons in outermost shell. 8 electrons in outermost shell. Outermost shell. Do you guys know what is a shell? Okay, listen to me. Suppose we are talking about the sodium. Sodium, the atomic number of sodium. I told you guys to remember the atomic numbers from 1 to 20. Please do it. Okay. So the atomic number of sodium is 11. Okay. What this tells you? That this sodium atom has 11 electrons and 11 protons, and the mass number is 23. So number of neutrons are, how much neutrons are present in this sodium atom? Snehal,
Yes.
how many neutrons are present in this sodium atom?
There would be 12.
Very good. बहुत प्यारे बच्चा. Thank you. 23 minus 12, 11. This is 12. Okay. Very good. So this sodium atom contains 12 neutrons. Okay. So now this sodium atom has 11 electrons. If I arrange them, this is the nucleus and this is the orbit in which electrons are present. Okay. So this sodium atom has 11 electrons, and all the 11 electrons are not present in one orbit only. The maximum capacity of first orbit, which is known as n equals to 1 or k shell, is how much? Okay, it's 2. Okay, it's 2. We are trying to understand how electrons are arranged in an atom. So this is the atom of sodium. One sodium atom contains 11 number of electrons. So all the 11 electrons are not arranged in one orbit only. The maximum capacity of first orbit, or n equals to 1 orbit, is 2 electrons only. So I'm writing a formula here to calculate maximum number of electrons an orbit can hold is 2n square for n equals to 1. Put the value of n here, 1 here. So how many electrons do you get? Put n equals to 1 here. How many maximum electrons can n equals to 1 accommodate? Just put n equals to 1 here. 2 into 1 square. How much is it?
2.
Thank you. It's 2. Then for n equals to 2, how many electrons this n equals to 2 can accommodate?
8.
Very good. 2 square is 4 into 2 is 8 electrons. Then for n equals to 3, how many electrons this n equals to 3 can accommodate?
18.
Thank you very much. 18 electrons. Okay. 3, you just have to put the value of 3 here. 3 square is 9 and 9 twos are 18. Okay. So now let's understand this. All the 11 electrons of sodium are not arranged in just one orbit. They are arranged in this manner. The first orbit, this n equals to 1, can accommodate only 2 electrons. Then the second orbit can accommodate only 8 electrons. So if I want to write the configuration of electrons, I can write it as 2, then comma 8. Now how many electrons are left, or is it complete? Is third orbit will occupy any electron or not?
There'll be one electron.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, so this is called the electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. Are you guys understanding? This is very easy. We are trying to understand how atoms. We are trying to answer 3 basic questions. We have 118 elements here. Why all the atoms don't combine? Some of the atoms here we have which do not combine, which remain alone. Do you know those elements? What are they called? They are called noble gases or inert gases like helium, argon, krypton, radon, xenon. Okay, these are called the noble gases. They don't react. Why? Then some of the elements are very vigorous while reacting. So why they are vigorous or violent? And some react slowly. So we are trying to answer these questions. So a theory was introduced, which is octet theory, and which says like this, that every atom reacts to complete the octet, to complete 8 electrons in its outermost orbit or shell. Orbit and shell both are same. Okay. So 11 electrons of sodium are not arranged in one orbit only. They are arranged in this manner. First orbit contains 2 electrons. Second orbit or shell contains 8 electrons. Now its capacity is full. Now no more electron can accommodate here. So the turn of third orbit, the remaining 1 electron is occupied or accommodated in the third orbit. Okay, now sodium we have 2, 8, 1. Okay. The theory says that this sodium is highly reactive because it tries to complete its octet, that is 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Okay. So guys, tell me, this sodium wants to complete the octet, that's the 8 electrons in its outermost shell. What are the ways? How can it complete the 8 electrons? What are the ways you think?
Losing
Yes.
an electron.
Yeah. So you guys are very smart. It has 2 ways. Either it loses this 1 electron, Now this 1 electron is not present here. So this orbit is now outermost. How many electrons are present here? How many electrons are present in the outermost now?
8.
8. So this atom either tries to lose 1 electron so that now this orbit is the outermost and it has 8 electrons, so this will now attain stability. Or second, it has already has 1 electron in the outermost shell. It may gain 7 electrons more, and now this orbit will have 7 plus 1, 8 electrons. So in this way, there are 2 ways in which this sodium atom can complete its octet. Okay. So which is easy? Which is easy? Which path is easy? Losing 1 electron or gaining 7 electrons? Which is easy?
Losing an electron.
Losing one.
Yes. Losing 1 electron is easy, right? So losing is easy here. So this sodium always loses 1 electron and it always forms Na. Okay, now you guys have to tell me what sign should come here, plus or minus? Gurpreet, what sign should come here? Because it's an ion, then ion is definitely have some charge. Is it, if it will be positive or negative? So what charge should come here?
Positive.
Positive. Snehal?
That would be positive.
Okay. Anisha?
Positive.
Thank you very much. Okay. If something, if you lose some negative thing, you will gain positivity. Okay. So electrons are lost here. So this, and how more the negative things you lose, more positive you look. So it lost one electron. So here one positive charge appears. So sodium always loses one electron and forms Na1 plus, and this is called as sodium ion, which is a cation. Okay. So in this way, the sodium tried to complete its octet. That's why it lost one electron. So these are called as metals. Sodium is a pure metal. It will never gain electrons. So what is the definition of metals and non-metals here? Just I will wrap it up. Today we studied about the compounds, the elements, the molecules, and we balanced some reactions. Then we understood the definition of metals and non-metals. In chemistry, the elements which have the tendency to lose electron, they are called as metals. The elements which gains electrons, always, they are called as non-metals. And the elements which sometimes loses electrons and sometimes gains electrons, they are called as metalloids. Okay, they behave like both metals and non-metals both. So sodium is a pure metal because it always loses electron to form Na1 plus. Okay. So guys, please, I will send you the PDF. We have studied 22 pages today. Please complete your notes and try to ask as many as questions you can. And please complete the assignments. Today I'll send the 4 assignment again. Now you have 8 assignment sheets, 10 questions each, 80 questions. Okay. But try to solve the previous assignments first and send it by Sunday morning positively. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.